Arsenal a few minutes ago. Bukayo Saka said to be training with the ball, training on grass again, and what Arteta has called competitive training. So I assume that means there's a little bit of bite in there. Could he help you win the Champions League? What's the impact going to be when he comes back?
One, Arteta's a liar. We all know that, right? So I don't know. I want us to take that with a pinch of salt. Saka would help, but I don't think he's enough. And I don't know what condition he's going to be in. With hamstring injuries, the injury he got was very serious. So I don't know if he's going to be as good as he was before he got the injury. But we need him. We need him for that game. We just need him. I can't lie. I didn't even want to bring him back for the season. But if he's fit, play him. We need him. Because Marino...
What do you need to do against Madrid?
If we don't win, it's cool. Madrid are Madrid, but we need to hold a decent account of ourselves. You want your best players to be there. Am I lying?
No, definitely. How do you feel about the game, though? Because there's some gooners that are like, bring me Madrid. Others that are like, we are out. There's zero chance. Yeah. How do you see it as a gooner, DA?
The 6 years we were out of the Champions League, I was jealous of everyone else getting these kind of games, getting these ties, getting to face the Madrids, the Barcelonas. So I'm excited for the game. Like, whether we lose or draw, like, this is where I want to see my team in the big games. We went through a period, no Champions League football, getting knocked out Europa. Like, if I had to pick a struggle, I'd rather get knocked out of this competition. And we're getting better each season. I don't think we're going to win the competition. I'll be real. But I want to see Arsenal hold a good account of themselves in a game like this against probably the favourites or top two favourites, against the likes of Vinny, Mbappe, Jude. We big up our defence a lot. Let's see them against the best attackers in the world. So this is what it's about. Like, I'm excited. I'll be real. I'm excited. Whatever the result, I'm excited to see how we do.
Do you think obviously the way the game's set out, the second leg being at the Bernabeu, do you think a lot of your players are going to get stage fright? I know it sounds crazy to say, but when you play at that stadium, like Carlo Ancelotti just lifts up his eyebrow and then it's game on. You could be 3-0 up with 10 minutes to go. If that eyebrow's coming up, you know for a fact you're in the doghouse.
That's where we're going to see who's really who the mentality monsters in our team are. A lot of footballers have shrunk in that stadium. And I'm looking at the likes of our captain. A lot of people have spoke about him this season. Me, especially, like, how are you going to do against your old club?
But when you mean you spoke about him, what is he's not doing enough? He's good enough?
Yeah, that he's just not doing enough in that, like, maybe we've outgrown him a bit. Maybe he's not what we need. Maybe he needs to play deeper. Maybe he's not a 10. Maybe, like, his shooting this season has been awful. Like,
I think it's interesting.
His final ball as well.
When Ethan comes back, when Saka comes back, he's obviously going to slot in on the right hand side. So where's Ethan going to play? Like, you can't not give him game time because of how talented he is. Do you put Odegaard and Rice in the double pivot and then him in the 10, or do you think he'll still be like an impact player?
I think he'll be an impact player, knowing Arteta. I think, and that's okay. Ethan's only just turned 18. I think he's definitely like first sub off the bench. Like, if we need an attacking change, he's the one we bring on. I don't know if Odegaard and Rice and Ethan as a midfield would work. Same if we played against Madrid. I think that may be a step too far for Ethan at this moment. I think he's a great talent, but I don't know if that midfield works. And to try it this late in the season against the Madrid, I think that would be a risk. But I think when Saka does come back, there'll be times that we do see Ethan and Saka playing together on that right-hand side. And maybe the last 10 minutes of games when we're chasing a goal, he might try that midfield. But I'm perfectly fine with Odegaard coming off sometimes, because sometimes he's just generally not playing good enough. And like, as the captain, you need to be playing well most of the time, and that hasn't been him this season. I'll be real. So we got to hold everyone in this team accountable.
Do you think he's worthy of the armband? So I look at someone like Gabriel and think...
Gabriel, yeah. If Gabriel is a captain to me. Odegaard, sometimes he shucks out of challenges. He's a bit weak. that's just my vision of a captain. Obviously, behind the scenes, Odegaard could be very like talking to every players or doing things on time, all of that, organizing things. But like a captain on the pitch, I look at Gabriel as our leader. He just looks as a leader of men. You see him; he's the leader of the backline, 100%, and he's always doing the right things. He's a consistent performer. I think he's probably been our best player this season. Like I've said it several times, one of the best defenders in the world. So underrated by the masses. I can't believe how good he's been this season. I think because we're not at the top of the league, it's kind of gone under the radar a bit, but I think he's been top.
Where are you on the sort of Arteta in, Arteta out conversation? It seems to be a very polarized one, but are you someone that thinks he still deserves more time, or are you at a point where you think, regardless of how the season ends, change is needed?
I've gone through Arteta out, Arteta in several times. We're 5 years in, and there's still no other trophy apart from the FA Cup. So it's kind of like this season I said, oh, he's got to win a trophy. And now he's kind of got the excuse of the injuries and everything. And I do understand that. And we're a really good team. It's not like we've not improved. We're a really, really good team. But can he get us over the line? Is he the man to get us over the line? And he said that he's wanted certain players, certain forwards, and he hasn't got them. So is it even his fault? We lost Edu at the start of the season. We ended up with Sterling. And at the beginning of the season, everyone was looking like, Sterling, this current iteration of Sterling to get us a title when we just finished second, he's going to push us over the line. I don't know where I stand. I'm kind of in the middle. Like it changes. It generally changes.
If you had a gun to your head right now and it was yes or no, does Arteta get you over the line? Is it a yes or no?
I'll keep.
You can't be in the middle and hope for a misfire.
I'll keep.
We're making the funeral arrangements, man. You're gone.
Do you know what? I'll keep him. I'll keep him just because he's been so close, and this is his first job, by the way. Like he's been so close. We've had this young team. I think if he gets a particular caliber of forwards, he can take us over the line.
We said that about Poch, by the way. And Poch and Arteta, other than the FA Cup, have been very similar.
Hey, listen, an FA Cup is a trophy.
Yeah, of course. I'll do some disgusting things for that. But right now,
Tottenham went to a Champions League final.
No signings in nearly 600 days. Like we were in the title race. We got to that final. If you don't recruit, I'm not saying I think you will recruit well, but if you don't recruit well, and let's say Chelsea go out there and hypothetically buy, I said about like Bastoni and a goalkeeper and bring in a number 9, and Liverpool keep their players and strengthen. And Man United, if we're sitting here, another year goes past, like at what point do you then say like you have to bring someone else in? I don't think you'll sack him. I think he'll see his contract out, and then if he does well, we'll get another one. But at what point do you say you have to bring someone else in?
I think, it looks like he'll be here next season. And I think next season is where it all changes, because I think like me and Cass have been speaking about, Saliba's coming to that stage in like his contract, and Saka and all the rest of our players. If it looks like, we can't win under him, like the project will kind of just collapse and players will start to look to leave, and we won't even look as attractive to the big players. So next season, it has to be silverware, and I mean not just silverware, the league. So
if you don't win the league next season, you bust.
What would you rather you win if you could choose? Right, the Premier League or a Champions League? Which do you feel is the most important for Arsenal?
I don't know. I've always said I'd rather win the league before we went on to win the Champions League, if that makes any sense to anyone. Just because I want to be like Kings of England and have that, and then go on to win the Champions League. But the first Champions League will do a lot. The first Champions League, that will give him another 5 years. I'll be real. Bro.
5 years? You'll be in phase 78. If we won a Champions League, I don't care who. I mean, it's never probably going to happen.
Yeah.
But if we won a Champions League, I don't. That's it. That's me done. I'm. Yeah.
You know what? Yeah, champs. Because it will be our first one. Like he will go into the history books, like the first manager to ever do it for Arsenal. Like every player will just be automatically legend. Like automatically legend. Kiwi, you're a legend. Everyone's a legend.
It's really crazy. I put together a table last night. I used that AI thing on X, and I just said I put together like the top 20 European clubs with the most major trophies. So it was Champions Leagues, UEFA / Europa, and then cups. And I suppose you could probably now put the Conference League in over the Cup Winners' Cup thing, even though the Cup Winners' Cup was a much more prestigious trophy than the Conference League.
We got one of those, by the way.
Yeah, you do have one of those. But,
we do.
but you don't come like teams like Hamburg, Feyenoord, Benfica, Nottingham Forest, Porto, have all won more European trophies. Then you start getting into that mix of Inter Milan have won 5, Ati 5, Ajax 5, United 6, Chelsea 8 European trophies. Obviously, they've got 2 Cup Winners' Cups, 2 Europa Leagues, 2 Champions Leagues within that. Bayern Munich they got 6. Sorry, Chelsea on that regard. Man United 6. I misread that. Bayern Munich 9. Arsenal, in terms of domestic success, are up there with a lot of those teams. But it's just adding that European heritage. I think is so important. Like this season with United, we're in the Europa League. I've never been one of these people that disrespects it because if you're in it and you can go on to win it, just adds that extra trophy to the totality. And Chelsea have been in the Europa League a couple of times in sort of the Roman era. They didn't just disregard. They went and won the damn thing, and it adds 2 more European trophies to that catalogue. And look, I mean, you weigh the Champions Leagues higher, like Barcelona, AC Milan never won the UEFA Cup or the Europa League. It's because they've barely been in it, if that makes sense, like in their pomp years. So the Champions League wins obviously hold a lot more value. You know, if you put them into a point system, you're going to give more points to a Champions League. But I think it's really important for Arsenal to win that. And if you did, I do say this, if you guys were to win the Champions League this year, I do think it'd break the internet. I think people's servers, I think Google's servers would crash. I think they'd go down. They would.
I just don't see a world like where we beat Madrid over 2 legs, go on beat PSG or whoever, and then beat Barcelona or whoever. Like,
I don't
Arteta's the
think
best manager in the world if he does that. He's the best manager in the world.
I don't think he'll do that either, but I literally saw my team go to Bayern's backyard and walk out of the Champions League.
Still going on about that. Before that, before that, the Napoli tie.
Yeah, 3-1 down.
Bringing them Cavani was in his pomp as well.
Yeah,
do you know what's good for Arsenal in this scenario? If Arsenal were to do it from this point, and by the way, I don't have them in the top 3 or 4 to do it, to win it. Just talking hypothetically here, the great thing for Arsenal is that nothing can be played down. It can't be easy draw, easy tie, easy run. If you win it from here, it's that, and that's where, as you say, enjoy it and embrace it, because if you go on to win it, no one can say shit. You will get, but we've got 3, we've got 2, we've got 3, we've got 5, we've got this, and that's all fair, right? But you can't have your victory played down. And you know, the 2 times Man United have won it in my lifetime, I look back at the run and the 99. We had Bayern Munich and Barcelona in our group. We then ended up having to play Inter, Juve, and then Bayern Munich again. And that's when the Italian teams were the best teams in the world. And actually, like, it's funny enough, a lot of the times our harder runs, we got to more finals and won. I always found some of the times when we had easier teams, for whatever reason, United didn't seem to do as well. But yeah, look, if you guys were to do it, there's nowhere for any rivals to hide. It can only be congratulated, because it's Real Madrid next, then it's going to be PSG, or it could be PSG or Villa. That'd be an interest. I'd love to see Villa Arsenal semi-final, because there's so much in that with Unai Emery, them being a smaller club than you, but with more European heritage. That would be, I think for us rivals watching, that would be a ridiculously good semi-final.
The stories with
There's so many narratives you can spin on.
Yeah, the narrative. Like, Emery is a problem. Emery's going to be a real problem for PSG. He's a problem. He knows how to set
he loves the underdog story as well.
Yeah,
like, he knocked out Bayern Munich and Villarreal.
That, and even me and Kamal speak about that. that Villarreal team in the semi-final, like they had Capoue, Coquelin, and they
Lo
nearly
Celso.
knocked out Liverpool in the semis.
Leg.
Foyth at right back.
They beat. There's only the year or so before they beat Man United in the final. And
Penalties.
again, and they just shouldn't. Again, without no disrespect, like team for team, lineup versus lineup, nobody expected them to win, and they did. And I remember the big Football Terrace group chat when we equalised, and it was like a consensus of, oh well, it was good while it lasted, it's over. And I felt, in my all honesty, I thought, oh, we'll go on and win now, and we didn't. And Unai Emery's very, very good at that. Plus, it's the ex-Arsenal connection. I would just love to see that play out on the timeline. It'd be amazing. I think it'd just be amazing to kind of sit back and sort of watch in that regard. Magnum here, back with a super chat. He says, "How has no one said that Timber is sitting there in a chair?"
Hey, that's the first, you know.
It was all right.
Yeah, that's a Timber. I can't see that one myself, but there we go.
Neither.
Oh, I can't see Timber.
Try harder.
Yeah.